Rana Sharadama, 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 Sharadama. Sharadama, Sharadama, Saraswati Ma, Saraswati Ma, Shubhravastra
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Namaste. Respected, revered, and most loved, Your Holiness, elders and friends, welcome to Vidyaloke's inaugural public talk on reviving Indian wisdom in contemporary India by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet and India. It would not be unfair to say that the era we find ourselves in is unique in so many ways. The opportunities we have to communicate, share, consume, and create are unprecedented. Most of nature's intelligent barriers have been overcome. Yet we fundamentally remain unchanged, and our mind faces the same challenges as always. In fact, we are perhaps mentally and emotionally, for some physically, more vulnerable than ever before. Mostly, we don't even know it. The only sensible reaction or approach, therefore, to the state of existence we find ourselves in is to aspire to greater wisdom, not as a hobby or when it is convenient, but always, in every action, thought, and word. Here, we can consider ourselves fortunate, as there is no land or country that has a greater wealth of wisdom than ours. It is this wisdom that defines the motivation of Vidyaloke. It is this wisdom that even His Holiness the Dalai Lama considers with the utmost conviction to be India's greatest legacy. His Holiness often refers to himself as a son of India, a Shishya of its wisdom, and of the great masters of this land. How many of us can truly say the same? Vidyaloke means wisdom and light. It is an Indian wisdom initiative that hopes to rekindle our legacy of wisdom and its study. Vidyaloke aims to be a facilitator, not an organization, nor a movement, nor a philosophical practice. With the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as Vidyaloke's first torchbearer, and the support of great masters and scholars that reside in this land, we hope to be successful in our efforts. I fold my hands with gratitude to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his conviction, encouragement, and precious time. I thank my parents, Aniljit and Neelu Singh, for their abundant patience, generosity, and support for Vidyaloke. I would now like to invite Manisha, Siddhi, and Chaitra, who will offer a short salutation to Saraswati and the Hridaya Sutra in the traditional dance form of Kathak. This will be followed by a few short words by my father, Sri Aniljit Singh, who will beseech His Holiness to bless us with his talk on reviving Indian wisdom in contemporary India. Namaste.
Okay. Thank you.
तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रामृता या वीणावर दण्डमण्डित पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवै सदा वन्दिता सा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जाड्यापहा
आर्यावलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्वो गम्भीरायां प्रज्ञापारमितायां चरयां चरमाणो व्यवलोकयति स्म पञ्चस्कन्धाः तांश्च स्वभावशून्यान् पश्यति स्म इह शारिपुत्ररूपं शून्यता शून्यतैव रूपम् रूपां न पृथक् शून्यता शून्यताया न पृथक् रूपम् यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एकमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कार विज्ञानानि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्मः शून्यता लक्षणा अनुत्पन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनोना न परिपूर्णाः तस्माच्छारिपुत्र शून्यताया न रूपं न वेदना न संज्ञा न संस्कारः न विज्ञानानि न चक्षुः श्रोत्रघ्राणजिह्वा कायमनांसि न रूपशब्द गन्धरस स्पष्टव्यधर्माः न चक्षुर्धातुर्यावन्न मनोधातुः न विद्या नाविद्या न विद्याक्षयो नाविद्याक्षयो यावन्न जरामरणं न जरामरणक्षयो न दुःखसमुद्यनिरोधमार्गा न ज्ञानं न प्राप्ति न अप्राप्तिः तस्मात् शारिपुत्र अत्रातित्वात् बोधिसत्त्वस्य प्रज्ञापारमितामाश्रित्य विहरति चित्तावरणः चित्तावरणनास्तित्वादत्रस्तो विपर्यासातिक्रान्तो निष्ठनिर्वाणः प्राप्तः गते गते पारगते पारसङ्गते बोधिस्वाहा 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 गते गते पारगते पारसङ्गते बोधिस्वाहा
Your Holiness, with your permission. Namaste and welcome everyone. We have assembled here today for a spiritual audience and to listen to the bearer of the white lotus, the jewel that fulfills all desires, the ocean of wisdom, the precious victory, the incomparable master, or very directly put, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you for this blessing, Your Holiness. Through a few snippets from my own learnings from His Holiness, allow me to share how at my first meeting with His Holiness, it was love and transformation at first sight. Very consistently, His Holiness teaches us, happiness is not your birthright. You have to train and uplift yourself. Inner peace comes from getting your inner values in order. Don't ask God to fix a man-made problem. Secularism is not limited to caste, creed, or religion, but in embracing believers and non-believers alike. His Holiness says many times, actually, non-believers show more compassion and are more tolerant than believers. Replace compulsiveness with consciousness and awareness. Be calm. Study Indian values. We come from a country which is rich in ancient Indian wisdom and must tap that knowledge base. Faith and religion are not enough. For inner peace, we need knowledge, investigation, reasoning, and to acquire wisdom. The ocean of love that is our Holiness is not like any master. As a reincarnation of the Lord of infinite compassion, He is deemed to have kept returning among humankind in order to act as a beacon. And by providence, geographically situated as India is, the gift of providence of Tibet is the gift of the universe to us. All through his younger life, may I say, this simple Buddhist monk, as His Holiness likes to call himself, has only spoken of supreme compassion, altruism, love for others, and universal brotherhood, and has always promoted the name of India, more so abroad than in India. And as a matter of fact, His Holiness is truly recognized all over the world as a messenger of ancient Indian wisdom. Finally, His Holiness says, I'm one of 7 billion people on this planet, and therefore says he does not feel alone. And you will see he is as happy as being with us as we are with him. Cherish this teaching and blessing, and enjoy His Holiness's humor and his beautiful and infectious laugh and good cheer. Your Holiness, kindly bless us with your thoughts on reviving Indian wisdom in contemporary India. Thank you.
Thank you. Usually I prefer to say a few words express a stand. Brothers and sisters, indeed, I'm very happy to spend a few moments with you. Some people, or some faces, very familiar to me. So you already know what I'm going to say. So you may feel boring. Some of them, I think, new. So in any way, basically we are same human being. As my friend usually mentioned, I always stress oneness of 7 billion human beings. Spiritually speaking, that's the proper way to think. Even entire sentient being, same desire, same wish, same right. Then particularly human being. From birth to death, we are same, mentally, emotionally, physically also. Basically we are same. Then most important, from birth, we always want happy life. Sometimes I feel that is the purpose of our life. The reason, quite simple. Future, always no guarantee. But we live with hope. Future, something good, something positive. So once that hope disappears, or hope lost, then I think that very mental attitude shorten our life. Then the worst case is suicide. So therefore we can say our survival depends on hope. Hope means something good. Therefore, I think the very purpose of our life for happiness. So I always stress on that. And then I want to say something. It's at the beginning, the prayer to Saraswati, wonderful Saraswati, the goddess of, wisdom. Then, those ladies, you dance, I think Indian style, ancient Indian style, beautifully, with singing Panchaparamita Sutra. Heart Sutra. I just felt Yes, Saraswati, goddess of wisdom. Yes, some prayer or recitation of Saraswati's mantra or visualization. If you have other sort of conditions, the main condition is understanding of shunyata. So, the dance, the Heart Sutra, is the essential sort of, the
Subject matter.
content is shunyata. And then, what is the meaning of shunyata? Not nothingness, but interdependency, interconnected net. So since everything exists due to other factor, so there is no absolute independent existence. So that concept is a not only basis of visualization of a goddess Kasa,
Deities.
Saraswati.
Saraswati, but also you see the change or development possible because of things are interrelated. If everything independent, absolute, then everything fixed, cannot change. So here, the Sanskrit word patita samupad. That's the real meaning of shunyata, emptiness. So I really enjoy your song, prayer, and those little dance. I really appreciate. Where have gone those ladies? Where? Oh, they disappear. I think to heaven. Okay. So now, I always stress the sense of oneness of humanity is I think, the essential message of all major different religions. All say, use different philosophical views. Some say, one creator, entire world, humanity created by one. In that sense, we all brothers, sisters from one father. So, I think according to theistic religion, God creates with love, not with anger. So, logically, God wants His children should be compassionate children, harmonious children. So, if you believe, you see, such sort of spirituality, then today's world, many of people from mouth, God, say God, God, God. In practice, I think they against God's wish. Then non-theistic religion, such as Jainism and Sankhya philosophy and Buddhist philosophy, law of causality, no creator. So everything, your own sort of well-being, everything depends on your own sort of action. Any action which creates problem for other, suffering for other, create your own suffering future. So any action, helping other, serving other, give them even short moments, some peace, some happiness. That's good karma. So you will get positive result. So these positive action and negative action entirely depend on motivation. So out of three, physical action, verbal action, mental action, the mental action is the key thing. So there, compassion is the key factor. So therefore, all major world institutions, they carry same message of love. And also, you see, we can say, I think, according, all these religions, 7 million human beings are actually brothers and sisters. If you seriously thinking that way, how can kill each other? Nowadays, unfortunately, if some human being killed by elephant or tiger, it becomes news. Little bit sort of
alarming.
But then, human being killed by another human being, not just one, hundreds or even thousands. Now these almost become normal news. Look, the past century, 20th century, according to some historian, over 200 millions of people killed through violence. What result? What benefit? Tremendous suffering. If that sort of immense sort of violence really create better world, then some people may say, oh, that violence is worthwhile to produce or to create a better world. But nothing happened that. Only suffering. And not only that, now beginning of the 21st century, still violence happen here and there, including violence in the name of religion. These, I think, 20th century's negligence, firstly, and mistake. In the past, whenever we find some disagreement, some different interest, always thinking how to solve this by force. So that way of thinking still remain in human beings' mind. So beginning of this 21st century, I think still these things happen. So violence never solved by violence, only through sort of friendship, through trust. Trust, friendship, entirely depend on love, taking care of their well-being. With that, must listen their view. And we have to sort of develop, sort of reach out with these people in the spirit of reconciliation. Reconciliation. That's the only way. There's no other choice. So therefore, now according to today's sort of world reality, now we really need a sense of oneness of humanity. And now the reality, the global warming, entire human beings, including some other animals, you see, have some effect. There is no sort of differences, this continent, this nation or that nation. So the nature sort of, or say the reality, show us we have to work together. Then environment issue, same. Then global economy. There's no national boundary or religious boundary. So that's the reality. It seems, you see, people, the mind, way of thinking, Still, they pass through thinking. Too much emphasis, we and they. The reality, no longer that. So now change that through prayer. Not much effect. So through education. Educate the reality. And through awareness about the reality, then we human beings, we have this brain. I think according to theistic religion, I think God's best gift is this brain. It is really unfortunate, this brilliant brain become disposal of anger, hatred, jealousy. Very unfortunate. So this best gift from God, or best thing, or brilliant sort of brain, must utilize for constructive, not destructive. So therefore, that education is the key factor. Firstly, education open our brain, then show the right path. Most of these problems, which man-made problem, due to short-sightedness and narrow-mindedness. And basically, we follow destructive emotion. Destructive emotion become dominant emotion. All destructive emotions such as anger, hatred, from the Buddhist philosophical viewpoint, all these destructive emotions based on ignorance. Ignorance never be useful. I think we human beings generally accept that ignorance is this sort of source of backwardness, backward. Therefore, everywhere people consider education is very important. Why? Ignorant mind will not carry progress and will not be happy, since we are human beings, since this marvelous sort of brain. So education, everywhere consider education is very important. So now education, the existing education, is actually very much oriented about material value. I think we have to think seriously. Most of troublemaker on this planet, as far as modern education is concerned, they educated people. But sometimes education, with this brain, marvelous brain, with modern education, sometimes this brain becoming troublemaker. Now only way, logically, is our education should be, they increase our positive emotion through our intelligence. I think we human beings, only human beings, can develop infinite love because of this brain. So therefore, I think education is the key factor. In any way, we really need a sense of oneness of humanity. In order to promote that, not through prayer, not through meditation, but through education. Not only believer, but entire human being on this planet. So today, about 7 billion, around 1 billion non-believer. And I often see expressing among the sort of believers also, some strange believers also there. These are due to lack of conviction about this deeper value. So unfortunately, religious faith also sometimes become the instrument of anger. Terrible. Religion is the only sort of medicine, to bring inner peace. But that itself become source of anger, source of suspicion. It's really terrible. So therefore, I think education, not only myself, but some educationists, some scientists, some social worker in America, in Europe, in India, now more and more people now really showing our existing education system is not adequate. On the existing education, we should need some kind of education from kindergarten up to university level about inner value. So now in this respect, Indian tradition, firstly, I think India's sort of tradition of the secular concept, I think very relevant to today's world. And with that, ahimsa, non-violence. Non-violence, I think more or less based on action. So non-violent action very much depend on karuna. So action level, non-violence, ahimsa. Motivation level, karuna. So the concept of ahimsa actually showing karuna is key factor, irrespective of whether believer or non-believer. So the karuna, compassion, biologically we are a social animal. Therefore, at emotion level, you see, there is some emotions which bring together. The first day we birth, mother take care. From not religious teaching, but biologically. The child also, you see, immediately sort of showing love, trust that person. These are biological factors. The other animal also like that. So we biologically equipped karuna. And then the practical level, we are a social animal. You see, there must be, you see, emotional level. You see, there must be, you see, certain sort of emotion which bring together. So that's love, affection. Biologically sort of develop these things are seed. Then this intelligence use further develop the biologically equipped love, compassion, limited, and at a further deeper way, biased, very much mixed with attachment. So sometimes that kind of love even creates some problem. However, that love take as a seed, then with help of intelligence, we can expand. You see, that love. Then that love, not oriented about others' attitude, but other as a being. Ourselves, love ourselves, but does not mean you yourself very kind to yourself. No. Simply, I want happy. So, you say, taking care of oneself, come. Not on the condition of, I myself very nice to me, no. So that sort of logical thinking. Others also, you see, like Kasuda, want happy, need because of love. So on that reason, on that basis, we can extend our love to entire sentient being, and particularly entire 7 billion human being. That's unconditional love, unbiased. Other animals cannot do. Because our intelligence, this special brain, we can do that. So basically, the scientists now, many scientists say, basic human nature is compassionate. Wonderful. According to our own experience, it's quite clear. Usually we just kasure didn't notice, didn't pay much. Otherwise, you see, our human society, you see, they love. I think basis of our survival depend on love, affection. So with awareness, these things is further extend. That love is something like unconditional, unbiased, and not oriented about others' attitude, but other so long sentient being, so long human being, it deserves our love. Like that. So, India's tradition, ahimsa, and secular, these, I think very relevant to today's world. So, my Indian brothers, sisters, you see, you must think more about ancient years or what you call wisdom or certain sort of what's today, knowledge. I think at least maybe a time, say 50, 60, 70% of time may spend for money. Okay, but at least 20, 30% of your time should think more about your traditional knowledge, about mind, about emotion. These are not religious matter, but simply just I feel academic subject. And then, as I mentioned earlier, more further deeper, patita samuppada. All these years of tradition. I always find very useful, these thinking. Then all these sort of knowledge come from India, not developed within Tibet. So therefore, I usually describe we are chela of Indian Guru. You Indian, historically our Guru. In modern time, our Guru very busy about matters, about money. So I think fortunately, we a little bit isolated behind the Himalayan mountain. So there is nothing to do. So study, thinking. So now seems to see through, I think, more than 1,000 years, these ancient Indian thought, Indian tradition, we kept intact. So nowadays, whether you use this or not, up to you. But the material there, and we are very much determined to serve you. All these ancient knowledge which we kept, now serve to. It is in a way looks strange. We are now teaching to Guru. But in practical level, okay, now Guru, not much here. So Chela, over 1,000 years, we kept not just prayer, not just a recitation, some mantra, but through rigorous study, at least 20, 30 years, rigorous study, we kept these knowledge. So now, I think more and more Indian now showing interest or because of realize your ancient knowledge as something useful, something relevant. So please now, and brothers, sisters in general, particularly Indian brothers, sisters, now please pay more attention about your own traditional value or knowledge, these things. And these, you see, we are promoting these according sort of universal value way. So not based on religion. So even non-believer, these knowledge, I think could be very useful. And believer on different tradition, so long all carry message of love, practice of love. So these knowledge very useful. So therefore, these ancient Indian knowledge could be universal value. So that I want to say to you, and some individuals, some now organization, now really, including my friend, are really, you see, is showing genuine sense of, I think I may say sense of responsibility to do something to revival of these ancient your knowledge. So I want to thank those organizations and those people who really thinking seriously, firstly realize these precious things and something relevant to today's world and making some effort. So I very much appreciate. This is, you see, the well-being concern about entire humanity, entire world. And this sort of thinking also is very much related with taking care about environment. So these, and because things are interrelated, interdependent. So that concept, I think in economy, global economy field, that sort of concept very relevant. Environment issue, very relevant. Even human health, not only physical, but also taking care about mental health. So now some scientists say, in order to develop physical health, you need mental health. So every field, things are interrelated. So with knowledge, with knowing that, and then taking care about peace of mind. Not through prayer, not through meditation, but through reasoning, training of our mind. Thank you. Now some questions. Microphone. Where is the microphone?
Who is going to read? You have.
Now, I prefer,
You have
it's a
questions
question
collected.
from the
The
audience.
audience wants to
Not
direct
just here.
questions from the audience.
Ka. I see, you collected. But still, I prefer, you see, direct question, directly. So long time permits, I want to take question directly. Otherwise, some people may say some censor here.
That's true.
Yes, start.
You're right, Your Holiness. I am a censor. So, Your Holiness, stress makes us forget basic human values. And we seem to have a lot of stress in our lives today. What can we use to counter this?
Stress.
Now, stress ki around mirang shin lenge sangbudi jejung at chikitos. Jejung. Now, jejung at chikitos. The member and these
Stress channels, jeju.
now stress ki genshin.
스트레스 기경이 semba sambu yende zubat korane
Kare.
스트레스 기경이 아니
Ka.
지방 sambu yende 스트레스 기경이
Alle. Yes, it is true. But stress, I think, we can see people or individual human being, you see, having same experience, difficult experience, but someone still remain peaceful. Someone much agitated. So that shows individuals' way of thinking make differences. So therefore, stress is not, I think, entire humanity facing that kind of problem. I think we have the method or ability. You see, someone has some sort of ability to tackle the source of stress, the cause of stress. I think one 8th century's Nalanda master is stated, when we face some problem, think that problem, if you can overcome that problem, then no need much worry, make effort. If that problem, no way overcome, then no use too much worry, too much sad. It's very practical, very practical. And then also you see, every event, as I mentioned earlier, event not some independent absolute, but due to other factor. So our attitude, our mental attitude, you see, towards the problem, look from wider perspective, that problem will not disturb you much. If the problem, just look only that problem, then more disturbances. So therefore, I think in some kind of problem, 7 billion human beings, everyone have some problem. If human nature is such with problem, too much stress, then I think 7 billion human beings all become mad. Some people, it's too much stress, too much worry, and alcohol, or drugs, or worst thing, suicide. But same time, same place, same people, same condition, some with that problem still remain happy. So now these are, I think, way of thinking. Thinking through training make differences. So, yes, next question.
Your Holiness,
If you feel through prayer that stress disappear, then you pray.
Your Holiness, what role can elders play in this effort of ours to revive our ancient knowledge and help us young people?
And the language, language. No. As I briefly mentioned, it's wonderful. I think when India become independence, I think if Mahatma Gandhi remain a bit longer, may, you see, develop certain sort of new ideas and new thinking. But in any way, now past is past. Now still, this nation, most populated democratic country, comparatively peaceful. Of course, in spite of some problem here and there, I think generally very peaceful. And still, rule of law or democracy, sometimes not some problem here and there, but generally, overall, I think very nice. I think this 1,000-year-old tradition, ahimsa, with that religious harmony, still there. So now on top of that, you should pay more attention about your 1,000-year-old your sort of knowledge, training of mind, not through prayer, not through meditation, but through education, through awareness. I think that, and not too late, I think you must make effort. And perhaps I think because of the little bit of the selfish or social because of the. And anyway, I don't know the proper word. So long, some people who trained and have fuller knowledge about this ancient Indian knowledge. So long these people there, I think this is a right time to use their knowledge. Although you see, we determined to keep this knowledge. Now last 57 years as a refugee, one of our top priority is preservation of this knowledge. Not only interest for Tibetan, but interest for entire sentient being, and particularly Buddhist. So, but time passes, you see, these people eventually disappear. So long these people available, I think you should make some, because of the more effort, you see, to use their knowledge. Okay. And including myself. Of course, my knowledge, compared to this good scholar, my knowledge is very limited. But my mind is quite sharp. So with this limited knowledge, I can expand. But so therefore, that person, now this person, now also now almost 82-year-old, so not much time. So please use opportunity. If you neglect, once these people gone, then only rely on books. I think it is much easier, much better. These books explained by human being with experience is much useful. Next.
Your Holiness, we have many students.
Oh, then also, I think sometimes I feel in South India, our monastic institution, the big monastic institution, some local Indians already there. Now, you see, of course, the Indian from Ladakh, from Arunachal, I think over 1,000 students already there. Then also from Plain, I think more and more Indian join. For the time being, you see, in order to join these monastic institutions, you should be celibate. We are thinking seriously. Some kind of sort of education, education center can sort of study these things, irrespective whether even whether believer or non-believer, whether Buddhist or non-Buddhist, or monk or lay people. That I think we can. There are some sort of institution, students, monk, lay people, so these, I think, these type of sort of institution, I think we can increase. One example in Delhi, the Tibet house here, you see, in order to join class in Tibet house, it's not necessary to become monk or nun. So everybody you see can come like that. So I think now, I have this sort of impression, really learned people who have this potential, more or less isolated in the Karnataka state. Now time come, must utilize their knowledge. Like that. So, then next question.
Your Holiness, we have many students and teachers here. So this is a very pertinent question. How can educators, teachers, make education more holistic for students?
그래서 두두 깨요.
단다 디 루트 멈추시오레스.
이봐.
루트도 게 멈추시오레스. 나 코나즈 체도 디 단다 나중에 신유에 되버디 신유디다 디 홀리스틱 디 딱 브레인 다 values 니가로 디 체유시 컨디션 수요레스.
I think in this respect, I think these education, sort of more complete education in external world, internal world, see immediately there's a massive way where that's much
massive.
Massive scale.
it's difficult. So I think some kind of teachers training. I think we can start teachers training, few hundred, and especially you see emphasis on these sort of the general knowledge they already have. Then I think then you see these ancient Indian sort of knowledge. Then I think specifically can sort of study some kind of teachers training may be worthwhile. Then each school, each college, you see, they can serve. And people notice this something useful. Then more and more people join. Then next.
Your Holiness, there's a question. How can one live a spiritual life balanced with a professional life and balanced also with a family life?
Yes, you see, celibate somewhere. That's one way. A serious spiritual practice, not necessarily be monk or nun. You can practice. So long this human brain, seed of compassion there. So therefore, spiritual practice, not necessarily is in need some special room and a special sort of hasadiming. Because yoje facility and sitting. No. While you carry your professional work, carry it honestly, truthfully, compassionate way, that's the practice of spiritual. So sometimes you see people quite strange. You see, within this sort of house, there's one separate room and some book, some sort of statues or something like that, and spend a few, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours in that. During that period, that person, spiritual-minded person, and outside that room, no longer spiritual-minded person. Silly. The spiritual practice should be part of our daily life. So you can carry your professional work, every professional work, including politics, sincere motivation, compassionate motivation, and also realistic motivation. Good. That itself, practicing because of spirituality, like that. And then, early morning, I think you get up a little bit earlier. I usually see 3:33. I always get up and some sort of meditation, mainly analytical meditation. But during night, about 6, go to sleep. So 9 hours sleep. That also one important part of my spiritual practice. So sufficient sleep, very important for our body, for our health. And then we also, you see, have certain sort of technique during sleep, some practice, during dreaming, some practice. But I cannot do so properly. I'm trying some occasion, but fail. So in any way, sound sleep gives me next morning very fresh. Then at least 4 or 5 hours some meditation, thinking. Then carry daily life. These sort of are the training or analytical meditation. An early morning, it really creates some certain kind of shaping your mind. So whole days, your activities then become more positive, like that. So therefore, the profession, we need further the material world development and profession, engineering or different sort of profession. We need, but carry it with sincere motivation. Then that itself is some kind of spiritual practice. Okay, next question.
Your Holiness, as a percentage of the world's population, we are more educated now than we have been in the past. Yet some would say we are becoming more intolerant and even more violent in certain ways. Is education making us like this?
No. I think education, generally, education is very important, but not adequate. Education, existing, I already mentioned, existing education very much oriented about material value. In material value, only concerned about number of money or and power or these things. In order to gain money, tricks or bully, cheating, these things happen. So now what we need, moral principle. You should be truthful person, honest person. That also, you see, ultimately your own interest. Practice of compassion brings the real sort of the help go to oneself. But sometimes the people have this sort of impression, practice of love, compassion is good for others. Something good for other, not necessarily you. Just totally wrong. And now some scientists, they found constant fear, constant anger, hatred is actually eating our immune system. Very bad for our health. Other hand, more compassionate mind is very, very helpful to sustain our immune system, and sometimes even increasing. So that's why, as I mentioned earlier, now usually the last several years we have some kind of also the there's some kind of slogan. Healthy body, healthy mind. So healthy mind means peaceful mind. In order to peaceful, I think any person who telling truthful, honestly, I think such person, less stress. Isn't it? Person nicely talk about motivation is try to cheating, try to lie. Then in deep inside, some stress. Isn't it? All these, any motivation, you see, something negative, then stress comes. Then I think money matter or these sort of name or these things, I think because too much stress, self-centered attitude. Less self-centered attitude, you get much more inner peace. So this, and then next.
Your Holiness, these two questions are personal to you. One is, in any difficult or painful situation in your life, how did you deal with it? And the other one is, what does happiness mean to you personally, Your Holiness?
가서 강연을 가르쳐서
동네낭당 가데스 나요.
가.
동네낭당.
가래.
군이 트레나 왜 갑라. 동네 가데스 나요. 아니 대기세에 대해 겨울치 간대지를 공부해놨어.
가래.
대기.
디지.
나오.
According to Indian tradition, usually I describe, usually we study text wrote by mainly 17 Nalanda masters. So one of the student of these texts, study, thinking. Really immense help. How to deal with problem, how to deal with anger, how to deal with anger and hatred, all these things. So very helpful. This is not just once you understand these things, no. There are 3 levels of awareness. Awareness out of hearing, that's superficial. Then understanding or awareness out of reflection, seriously. And for that, you need skepticism. Not believe easily, not accept. This book says that. This book says something different. That's very necessary in order to analyze. Just one book, so one sort of has the
idea. One idea. Ideas.
One sort of view. You believe that, then no further development. You must have learn different views, different concept, then analyze, investigate, and experiment. Through that way, you develop second level of awareness. Now that brings conviction. Once you develop not only just mere knowledge, but conviction, out of sort of analyze. Then you familiarize that days and weeks and months, years and decades, then transform your emotion, your mind. According to my own experience, of course I'm Buddhist monk and also student of these Nalanda master. Many others also, we are same. So then, in my case, last now, I think 40, 50, 60 years, analyze, thinking. So one, I think one, the non-theistic religious sort of way is use your own mind, intelligence, then transform. So Buddhist way of the Buddhist way is, particularly Nalanda tradition is, use our intelligence maximum way with skepticism. Through that way, transform our emotion. It's very scientific. Buddha himself, expressed, "Oh, my follower, monks, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So many Nalanda masters raise question, some Buddha's teaching. Or if you accept this literally, it goes against the reason. So we should take liberty to reject these Buddha's own sort of teaching. There's something unique. So therefore, I think the Kasoda, and that we call analytical meditation, investigate. In order to carry investigation, you need different sources, even contradictory, some different sort of views. That provides you to analyze, then familiarize. So as I mentioned, I think last 50, 60 years, I was thinking. Then gradually, my emotion changed. So today, almost, you see, the attachment, anger, these almost disappear. Not through prayer, but through analyze. So therefore, through my own experience, I can tell you, you see, training our mind that use maximum way our intelligence. In that respect, even information from scientists, different field, also very useful, particularly quantum physics. And also some sort of scientists now already sort of Kasoda, they investigate variety of emotions. Like Paul Ekman, on the basis of human
facial expressions. Facial expressions. Facial expressions.
Oh, love that.
The identifying the various mental emotions on the basis of the facial expressions, microfacial expressions.
So these very useful. So from different source, and take and analyze. Very helpful. Next question.
Your Holiness, many of us follow a religion from childhood. They are aware of good values. They have received knowledge from teachers and parents, but a path is still missing. There is no sense of being on a path. So how can one address this in the mind?
I think here is according to different philosophical views, a different tradition. It's a different way to explain. I think reach heaven, single-pointed faith towards God. And then practice like 10 commandments, right? 10 commandments, and essentially practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance. So then, after that, you will reach heaven. So that's, I think, basic goal, no? So Bishop Tutu, my great friend, my real friend, and spiritual elder brother, wonderful. So one occasion he expressed half a joke, teasing me. So he, as a sort of Catholic practitioner, you see, he ready to go to heaven. Dalai Lama may go some different place. So, strictly speaking, you see, reach heaven only those people who have single-pointed faith towards God. So I'm one of the ancient Indian sort of tradition, those sort of a concept of God, creator. So my destination, go there. So like that. So then, Then according to Indian tradition, even you see, believe creator, but believe life after life. So that's why you see the concept of Atma related here. From previous life to this life, to this life, next life, this body not go, not come. Mind which is related with this brain also is not come, previous life on go next life. So, concept of Atma. So therefore, ultimately, Brahma or something, creator, but meantime, several lives is accepted. Then, as I mentioned earlier, Jainism and Buddhism is in no beginning of life, no creator. It's nature. Existence of mind is nature. Like a different sort of particles on this planet. Nature. No one created. And we, is very much sort of also a similar view, the Darwin theory, evolution. Then differences, why is this evolution is happen? To some extent, we can explain due to this factor, is this happen. Then, some deeper level, then we say karma, karmic relations, like that. So this is a different way. So, to those people who believe Creator, then according to your own sort of what they believe, should follow that. And then those non-theistic, then accordingly you should follow. And as far as Buddhism is concerned, I think the Panchaparamita Sutra, Heart Sutra mentioned Gade, Paragade, Parasamgade, Buddhism. That's our destination, step by step. And finally, our goal is Buddhahood. Next question.
Your Holiness, we are interdependent on our families, on our community and society, on the organizations that we might be part of. It is difficult sometimes to take an independent decision, to use one's own judgment. Where do we find a balance here?
So that's complicated. So thinking these complicated situation, then we celebrate as really much more freedom. Then, I think you know better, I don't know. Correct. So now, as I already mentioned, I always stress, this is society, materialistic society. And way of life, also materialistic way of life. With that, materialistic culture. So there are, I think, plenty of sources problem. Now we have to think, you see, how to change that. So that we already discussed through education, through awareness. So if the present sort of education system and the present way of life goes, I think this 20th century also will be similar century that of 20th century. A lot of violence, a lot of killing. So now, I think within 20th century, early part of 20th century, later part of 20th century, there are many change. Obviously, in the early part of 20th century, you see nation, I often telling different nation when declare war on other nation. So every citizen of that country without slightest question, they proudly join war effort. Now, later part of 20th century, that kind of thinking completely changed. One clear example, the European Union. All these member states, through centuries, fighting, killing, particularly French, German. But then, after Second World War, then the concept of reconciliation, I think Polish people, some religious spiritual leader, I think also you see they, I think involved on the basis of reconciliation, of forgiveness. So with these sort of certain sort of concept out of tremendous suffering, then spirit of European Union start. I think wonderful. So therefore, I think the movement for peace and against the nuclear weapon from Japan, I think this movement is now more or less, I think, all over the world. So these are signs of we human beings, through tremendous suffering problem, we become more mature. So since within 20th century, such sort of change take place. Now, 21st century, we have to make effort. This century should be century of peace in order to create a peaceful century. That does not mean no longer any sort of source of conflict. Source of conflict always there. Different interests, different views, always there. So now, in order to create a peaceful century, through dialogue. So often I sort of expressing, now this century, in order to create peaceful century, we must create this century should be century of dialogue. Or through sense of oneness. Their interest, also my interest. My interest also related with their interest. So you see, there's no sort of basis to killing each other, to bully each other. We are same. One human family on this planet. Different religion is personal matter, personal business. Not that. Those common practice such as love, compassion, we can share each other. There's some unique sort of philosophical views, unique thing. It's private business, no problem. I think about 2 years ago in Bangalore, is marvelous, really, great, one sadhu. He really helping, providing food to, I think, a few thousand students. Wonderful. So one occasion we together. So then I told, practice of Shila, because of morality, practice of shamatha, single-pointed meditation, then also generally, broadly, practice of vipassana, analytical meditation. We are same. Hindus, Buddhists, we are same. Then the differences is concept of Atma and Anatma. And I told him, we should sort of mutual learning about these three, Shila, Shamatha, Paranja. Then concept of Atma and Anatma is our private matter, private business. So you should believe Atma. So you get the benefit from that concept. I get benefit from concept of Anatma theory. So that's private business, no problem. Takaleso.
Your Holiness, you often speak of India being a largely very peaceful country, despite all the differences and the religious differences. At the same time, it could be said that there is a lack of nationalism and togetherness. Do you feel that it is important for us to have this nationalism to be a happy country?
Karsa.
디 저기서 겸험시 가는 거라서 다디 지상치기 나 생자시 시대 심시
그러로.
가는 것도 야나 야 초신 제외는 야야 디 단다 직 튠디다 아니 기업이 신디 어디서 대해서 매버스 다딩어서 기업이 신 내셔널리즘 세디 딩어 디 장으로 베스
장고를 베세.
말해 디 약간 프로모처로 베스
그 고를 베세. What is the meaning? Nationalism. So, group, different group, and even different state. So my state, and Southern Indian, they say we South Indian. Northern say Northern, and in Punjab, Punjabi. Okay, no problem. We Tibetan, we say we Tibetan. Tibetan refugee, like that. So these are the fact, right? It's fact. But then go extreme, only concern about your own sort of the group, and forget about interest or right of others. Then it goes extreme. Otherwise, it's a different community. Like this India, I think the caste system, I think we must change that. If you make distinction, low caste, low caste, kasati means untouchable.
Untouchable.
Low caste. I heard, you see, some area, the wealth, the certain sort of caste use that well, the low caste cannot drink, not allowed to drink from that. Such thing is, such sort of, we may say, tradition or habit is outdated. Now, this is a democratic country. Under the law, we all equal. According to India's constitution, we all equal. So you see, make distinction, you see, on the basis of caste. That, because of the backward thinking, must change. So I always see, telling some of these sort of because of habit related with religion. But then religion, I often use telling, look, all major religious tradition, three aspects. One aspect, religion. One aspect, philosophy. One aspect, certain sort of cultural heritage. So the first aspect, all major religious traditions, same. Message of love, practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, same. That's the basis of harmony. Then in philosophical aspect, there's differences. But no problem. All these different philosophical views, same goal. That's promotion of love. No problem. Then aspect of cultural heritage. Now I think all these major religious traditions, I think over around 2,000 years. Buddhism, Jainism, now 2,600-700 years. So when these teachings come, the society system is feudal system. So landlord and slave. So unfortunately, these landlords, I think, use religious belief in order to exploit or suppress these workers or workers like that. So these concepts happen. So now social system changed, a democratic sort of society. So some of the tradition, in the name of religion, they actually influenced by feudal system that must change. Like that. That's my view. So the religious spiritual leaders say should come out, tell these are outdated. Even with the name of religion, it's outdated, must change. Okay.
Your Holiness, in today's modern era, what is the relevance of the institution of marriage?
Karsa.
창세 내다디 딩럽기 지소 나라 대화가 되는 신주.
Chance kare.
창세 깨야 돼.
그 가져버렸어.
딩럽이 나라 대화가 되는 대화들이.
The institution of marriage, is it relevant in today's modern era?
Oh, we have to produce children. So then marriage means produce children. So I think human, because of this brain, we consider birthday as something important, then marriage something important, then anniversary of death is something important. So marriage, part of that. So, but then I think marriage, I think first, of course, this is not my kind of not much to say. But in any way, many years ago in San Francisco, I met one occasion one Christian minister in San Francisco. So we just talked, and then marriage. He told me he usually advises those people who are going to marry, and he usually advises them, actual marriage should not take hurriedly, should know each other, not only physical appearances, but real person's nature. Once you know each other well and develop respect, then marry. I think that is very good advice. So otherwise, sometimes I jokingly is telling people, marriage means preparation of divorce. So, without children, okay. Even each month, one marriage, okay, doesn't matter. With children, then it becomes really serious. So I noticed some parent or some couple with children, then divorce. I think children's mind, I think, very, very bad, very harmful. So happy marriage, long-lasting marriage is very important. So in order to carry a long-lasting marriage, you should know each other well and develop respect. Then much healthier. Then sometimes I express, in Delhi, from airport coming to here, some area,
What is that called in India?
Some tent or something.
No.
Many years ago, I asked the driver, what is going on here? And he mentioned marriage. So then the driver told me, few lakhs of rupees spent for building that. And I really thought, that's wasting. So if you I think instead of that, the marriage ceremony, I think 10, 15 trucks, you see, with fruit,
bread, bread.
some sort of eatable thing. And then that marriage day, go around Delhi, those street children, those poor people, share them. Then I think they certainly pray for you, for that couple. And also I think eventually they pray more marriage. So they got more sort of
Gifts.
Oh, more gifts. So that's much better. Spend a lot of money. Just build some sort of hall or something like that. Not much sense. Of course, this is not my business, but up to you. Yes?
Your Holiness, on a more lighter note, could you share from all your travels in India or all your travels in the world, could you share a funny experience?
Karsa.
Good job.
Ka.
겨울음식 자가나라 이내에 지게 칼 가사칼 폐기 여버디 트네 내주 그 조부치 송로 나서
내주 양사부
그 조부든데랑
Oh, now nearly 82 years old person. So a lot of seeing a lot of drama. So I can't remember. You say one particular thing to pick up. I don't know. So actually, I love smile. I always see seeing someone. I always see smiling. So I feel happy. And when you smile at them, I think most cases they also return smile, much happier. So in Japan, usually you see they are very serious. So I'm telling them, please, some smiles. Then gradually you see some audience, you see, smile also come. Then you see some people, some sort of, people, particularly the police with sort of uniform. Sometimes you see when I smile them, not respond, smile, more serious. Then I usually do this, kasa.
Tickle.
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 Tickle. Then they give me smile. So like that, I think then a smile, really, I think some unique thing about human being. Some animal, maybe some sort of expression, special expression of their love, their friendly, their friendship.
Not friendly.
I think dogs smile, not. The only sort of thing is because of licking. And cat, because of give them some affection, then they gorr. Very nice, isn't it? Very nice. So therefore, the smile, or smile also, you see, we have to make distinction because this brain is very smart. So some artificial smile, sarcastic smile, diplomatic smile, and genuine smile. So genuine smile, really spontaneous, out of sort of closeness feeling. That is very good. Artificial smile, or even diplomatic smile, sometimes develop more suspicion. So I think only one occasion in Germany, I often used to mention that. It's just smiling, a smile. You, the person yourself, you see, get some kind of free smile. The other person, sometimes a smile brings more suspicion. One occasion in Germany, I think that some program, a little bit sort of late, dark, already dark. So I went there in car. So one young lady coming.
In the opposite direction. Or in the opposite direction.
Then, as my usual practice, I smile. My smile brings more suspicion in that lady. So that lady, why you see this strange person? You see the clothes, these things was quite strange. So therefore, she felt something. Oh, that strange person showing smile, maybe something wrong. So she showed something, a little bit negative attitude. So then also I have liberty turn my face. So otherwise, even animal, when you show them your sincerity, your genuine love, I think dogs, they look, because eyes were, me look that.
They gaze in your eyes.
You see, eye-to-eye contact. Then they show. So we all social animals, you see, have very much, I think, appreciate love. Because the love is the basis of our survival. These days, I have one cat. Now I think more than 16 years old. So everybody, you see, loves. So I think quite long. Cat, I think 16 years, quite old, isn't it? Physical, difficult, but you see, atmosphere is full of love. So survive. So therefore, I often, you see, also expressing the size of brain, up to which size have the ability to show appreciation. So mosquito have not that sort of brain there. The mosquito's very small brain is no ability to show appreciation. Reason, when my mood good and provided quite certain, no malaria carrying, then I give some blood to mosquito. So mosquito come and sucking my blood, and their whole body become red, then few drops come, then fly. No sign of appreciation. Dogs, cats, birds also. You see, if you feed them with sincere motivation, they appreciate. One occasion, when I was in Tibet, there are some birds in cage. One small parrot. This is my teacher, when he passing through, he always brings some nut to feed that parrot. So he used to sort of, in the cage, his finger go inside, then the parrot go like that. He do that. And the parrot also is showing something very nice, like that. So I also want that kind of attitude. Then few occasions, I give some nuts. Then that small parrot take that nut, never show friendly attitude. So then I got irritation after a few days. Then little strict use that. So then never become friendship. So this animal, you see, they very much appreciate love, affection, sincerity. Like that. And Kashasda.
No.
Next.
Your Holiness, we have been speaking a lot about India and reviving Indian wisdom in India by Indians, for Indians. But as Indians, what can we do for the rest of the world?
So I usually, I'm telling, I had this sort of impression. India, I think only this country, India, have the sort of opportunity and also ability to combine modernity, including education, very much oriented about material value. So with that, the ancient Indian knowledge about our inner value, these two things can combine. So then, physically, well-being because of material development, and mental because of well-being because these ancient Indian knowledge, how to, firstly, knowing the whole system of emotion, then how to tackle these destructive emotion, and how to promote these positive emotion. Then, I think, a human being, physically also comfortable, well-being, mentally also peace, much less stress, peaceful. So you already have these sources already there. So now only question is learn these things and then you utilize these things. Then I think you can make certain contribution for rest of the world. Of course, the Western world, marvelous, wonderful. People as the same human being, wonderful. But then, you see, there are sort of religious tradition, is Judeo-Christian tradition, emphasis faith. Not much sort of explanation about mind or emotion, these things. Whereas India, you see, particularly Buddhism and Jainism, emphasize training by yourself and improve yourself. So therefore, naturally, more sort of explanation about mind. I think all those religions where they practice important part of that religion, practice of shamatha, vipassana, automatically is a more explanation about system of our mind, our emotion. So therefore, in Greek Orthodox, I heard in some remote area in Greece, some Christian, say Greek Orthodox, they still carry some meditation. I never met such practitioner. So I think some other tradition also may have certain kind of sort of meditation. But generally, it's in the emphasis prayer. So therefore, traditionally, this country, I think among three civilizations, Egyptian civilization, Chinese civilization, and Kazakh. Indus Valley civilization, that's the basis or root of India civilization. So among three civilizations, I think about mind or about training of mind or these and logic, I think this India civilization, I think, produced most logicians and philosophers. I usually describe it as Buddha. One aspect of Buddha is as a Buddha, to Buddhist Buddha. But one aspect of Buddha is thinker, philosopher. One aspect of Buddha is scientist, as I mentioned earlier. He emphasizes experiment, investigation, rather than faith. So, the ancient one, Indian scientist, and many of his followers like that, always investigate. So therefore now today, say, we have very close sort of link, or very easily communicate with scientists. So sometimes I sort of describe the Nalanda tradition could be bridge, science and strict spirituality. So Buddhism also uses one of spirituality, including meditation, all these there. And one aspect, always reasoning, investigation. So, very close with modern science, and also close with other tradition about practice of love, these things. So India, I think really great potential. Now usually I telling, you see, the generation of 20th century, a generation of 21st century. Myself and many of you, generation of 20th century. So now eventually we're going to say bye-bye. So now, the generation of 21st century, people whose age below 20, 15, that generation is truly generation of 21st century. So now, past is past. No force can change. I think even God cannot change past. So only future. Future is possibility flexible. So therefore, future depends on present. So the generation of 21st century, you have the opportunity, and also you have the responsibility to create better future, happier future. So you should have vision and enthusiasm, optimism, and use our brain more realistic way, thinking, analyze. Then you have the opportunity to create better world, better century, and you will enjoy that century. 21st century, just a beginning. So we will not see. I think next 10, 20 years, we will go. But then you, generation of 21st century, will see, will enjoy. So you must make effort now with vision. Then you can change our world. Sometimes I jokingly say, telling people, after 20 years, I may be, even in hell, I will get some permission, 1 week visit world, then watch if world, the 21st century's people, really doing well and create peaceful world. Then when I return to hell, I will report, now time come, the size of hell can reduce. If you see the 21st century's people still carrying violence, killing, like that, then I will report, the hell should expand, more people ready to come. So therefore, we are now, you see, ending our life. Now our hope is the 21st generation's people. You should think. You should not content existence, present existence. You must think. If presence of system, or way of thinking, way of life continuously, I think this 21st century also will be miserable century. Killing, cheating, bully. If there is no way to change, then can't help. But there is a way to change. So therefore, you must think more seriously. And now this 21st century should be more peaceful, more happier century of truly human beings century. Like that. Now I think, yes?
Your Holiness, many people have asked questions.
Yes?
Many people have asked questions about the new American president. So,
Karsa?
Trump korla. America since saba korla ko ya mangutus.
Yes. When I met recent weeks, I mean these days when I met, say quite often you see some comment. But then this is not our business. American people, I think America, usually I describe, leading nation of free world. And American sort of tradition, liberty, democracy, rule of law, wonderful. American people also very good. So some way they choose their president. So we'll see. So when I when we talk with people, some say this way, some say this way. So I don't know. So best thing is wait and see. Like that. But American system, I think basically very sound. So not much problem. If America, totalitarian system, then one individual really makes differences. But American system, firstly, because of legislative survey,
Legislative.
2 houses, and then
Judiciary.
administration, then independent judiciary, law, and American media, very powerful. So therefore, for temporary some different things there, but basically I think America quite sound. But one thing, I think there's some sort of discrimination on religious basis. That's, I think, not right. So that I feel. Otherwise, not much problem. Okay. Yes, one Sadaji. One microphone. Here.
it's the last question, please.
Then I take 2 questions. One you, one from here, this side. Yes.
My respects, Your Holiness. I've been overjoyed being in this congregation listening to you. And I come from Heartfulness Institute, where we are pursuing the same thought of oneness of humanity with the same principles. We may do it differently. We do it with, training the mind with the heart. We are also collaborating with your organization, Your Holiness, working in some schools of Tibetan schools. We started with Ponta, where we're working with teachers and students. How can other like-minded organizations which are bound together with the same thread, which is oneness of humanity, how can we collaborate more? What is your advice for that?
Now that, I don't know. Clearly, you see, Kasure, it is very clear. Now these, we are talking humanity. So one or two individual organizations, you see, cannot do. So more Kasuda, collaboration.
No.
So last year, I met one small group of African students, mainly Muslim countries, organized by American
U.S. Institute of Peace.
So one of the African boy student expressed at our meeting, the very moment some explosions were, or some his sort of because of the companion dying. That very moment, he determined, I must do something for peace. I really admire. So we discussed, and I expressed to them, now wonderful youth who really determined to bring peace in their own area, in their own country. Wonderful. Now you should not feel you're lonely. Rest of the genuine human being on this planet behind you. Now only thing is, you have to sort of, we have to sort of organize this kind of meeting at different places, different country, and should make known more people. I told them. So similarly, our work, I think firstly within India, I think different state, I think not only annually, but quite often, it's some meeting, discuss how to do. Then, another word, through that way, wider contact, then mobilize. Then it's more effective. That's my view. Then how to do, I don't know. I think you know better. I think, I know we need constant effort, more rigorously. We have to change this situation. And change not by force, but by awareness. So that's the only thing if we really want happy life. So therefore, you see, we have to work, but how to organize, I don't know. Usually you see, I'm telling, you see, I have, you see, this brain, so some ideas come there, and then use my mouth, blah, 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 blah. But no hand. So I need more hand. So these people, this organization is one of my hand. Now move, work. Yes, you. Now one from here. Now here, a second. Now third from here.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका जो आप हमारे भारत देश में आए. इज द वेलकम. आप पूरे दुनिया के विश्व गुरु हैं. आपको हमारी तरफ से प्रणाम. मैं अपनी बात कहना चाहता हूँ।
Oh, Hindi.
Yes. Can you speak louder, please? आप
My
थोड़ी
Hindi.
ऊंची आवाज में बोलिए.
थोड़ा
जी,
थोड़ा.
सर, मैं DNT D-Notify is the real freedom fighter, is the Indian heroes हूँ. D-Nati माने यानी कि इतने दुखी और पिछड़े हुए हम वर्ग के लोग हैं जो कि आज तक हमें पूरे कहीं भी किसी भी जगह पर असर कोई भी इंसाफ और कोई अधिकार नहीं मिला, ना हमें कोई आरक्षण मिला, ना कोई हमें आज तक राजनीति में हिस्सेदारी मिली, ना कोई कोटेस मिले. हम रियल इंडियन जो फ्रीडम फाइटर्स हैं भारत देश के अंदर, हमें करोड़ों हजारों सालों से आज भी बेगाना और
भाई साहब आप अपना प्रश्न पूछिए.
धिक्कार की नज़र से देखा जाता है. मैं आपसे दलाई लामा साहब से, संत जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप हमारी बात को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे भी पहुंचाएं और भारत के प्रधानमंत्री और शासन प्रशासन से भी हमारे लिए अपील करें. बहुत धन्यवाद.
Your Holiness, the gentleman is making a request. The gentleman is making a request to put his petition forth to an international platform. I will have that brought to you, Your Holiness, later.
가서.
그랑 슈도 돼야지.
가.
레구슈야지. 그랑 레구슈야지라셔. 근데 슈려야 년도 슈셔슈스.
네, 서비스 마서 가서.
그랑
Main point.
What's the main point?
He's talking about
Yes.
he's talking about freedom fighters and their.
सर, मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ DNT, the D-Noti फ्रीडम ऑफ फाइटर इंडियंस हीरोज. DNT माने बहुत हम पिछड़े और दुखी लोग हैं. आज तक हम देश के लिए इतने हमने खून और कुर्बानी दी है देश को बचाने के लिए, लेकिन सर आज तक हमें कोई भी इंसाफ और अधिकार नहीं मिला. इसलिए आपसे अपील करता हूं मैं कि कुछ आप हमारे समाज के लिए और DNT विमंतु घुमंतु के लिए दो बातें आप शासन प्रशासन और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय लेवल पे कहें.
Thank you. Your Holiness, if with your permission we will end there. Your Holiness, please accept our heartfelt gratitude once again for safekeeping the vast ocean of the wisdom of this land and for having the compassion, the concern, the interest and the effort to share it with us, to provoke us and to constantly give us more knowledge. Your Holiness, as a small token of appreciation, we have a homage to the 70 Nalanda masters that we would like to present to you, Your Holiness.
More question,
More questions, Your Holiness?
Good question.
There was no question, Your Holiness.
랑젠 탑주 중에도 근데기 초보도 지나지 인사 건주기 슈도 겸 단다보도 년개 종 마소스.
No question. What?
No question, Your Holiness.
Okay, thank you then.
Yes.
Then very easy. Thank you.
Come, please.
Thank you. Since we are talking about humanity, each of us have the moral responsibility to do something. If you want happy life, the humanity should be peaceful. This world should be peaceful, compassionate world. Then each of us have the maximum benefit. So therefore, the sense of global responsibility, each of us, entire 7 billion human beings, have, from birth, we all have the responsibility to build happy world. Even from selfish way, yes, we should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. Everybody is want something good for them, but combined with ignorance. So that's why it's a lot of problem. We should keep wise selfish. Then I think world become better. Oh yes, Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Buddhapalita, Bhavavika, Chandrakirti, Shandadeva, Shantarakshita, Kamalashida, Asanga, Bosuband, Dignar, Dharmakirti, correct, Birkam,
Vimukti Sena.
Ka,
Vimukti Sena.
Bimuktisan, Haribhadra, Gunaparva, Shagyaparva, Adisha, Adibungara, Shirijana. Thank you. These are truly our teacher, our sort of scholars. I think, as I mentioned, in Tibet in the past, I think 20, 30, 40 years study. Firstly, memorize these root texts. All these root texts mostly wrote by these Indian Pandit. And then each word you see explain according to commentary. That also most of the commentary wrote by Indian masters. Then carried debate. So try to understand precisely.
Precisely.
So all these, logically, I think Buddha Dharma, in 8th century, I think interest about Buddha Dharma, I think developed in 7th century. Then 8th century is one Tibetan emperor, he very much serious. Then you see, inspired a very close link with Chinese emperor, but he prefer, as far as Buddha Dharma is concerned, he tried to bring directly from India. So he invited Shantarakshita. So that Pandit, that sort of as the master, a great philosopher and a great logician. So naturally, logically, a teacher himself, such sort of stay, Kasoda, a philosopher and a logician. So therefore, he want his student also become like that. So we quite a faithful Chela. So we kept his wish over 1,000 years. So sometimes I really feel proud. Only we Tibetan, we kept this knowledge, no other country. And Tibetan language also you see developed while translation carrying. Before translation started, Tibetan language very sort of Kasuta, not developed language. And while about 300 volumes translated mainly from Sanskrit and Pali, and about 15, 20 volumes translated from Chinese. So while translation carrying, the new word is also, you see, developed. So today, eventually, Tibetan translation is closest with the original Sanskrit sort of text. So therefore, today, I notice the best language to describe precisely about this philosophy and logic and science of mind, Tibetan language is the best language. So I feel quite proud. So preservation of Tibetan language and our knowledge is not only interest for 6 million Tibetan people, but I think around 1 billion Buddhist population on this planet. And then furthermore, I think entire humanity about science of mind, on these things, I think interest for entire 7 billion human beings. So those people who have some interest, eventually I think, you see, we Tibetan scholars, last several years, we pay attention for study English and Hindi, and regional language also. So now similarly, hopefully, more young Indian, please study Tibetan. Then or I think Sanskrit. but I think a proper teacher who can explain through Sanskrit and these, I think, complicated subject. I don't think now much Garva available, but I think Tibetan about, I think around, a 10,000 monk student station in Karnataka state. So we are the potential to explain these things. So therefore, you Indian must, those Indian who have some interest must utilize our knowledge. Thank you.
Your Holiness, with your permission. Namaste and welcome everyone. We have assembled here today for a spiritual audience and to listen to the bearer of the white lotus, the jewel that fulfills all desires, the ocean of wisdom, the precious victory, the incomparable master, or very directly put, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you for this blessing, Your Holiness. Through a few snippets from my own learnings from His Holiness, allow me to share how at my first meeting with His Holiness, it was love and transformation at first sight. Very consistently, His Holiness teaches us, happiness is not your birthright. You have to train and uplift yourself. Inner peace comes from getting your inner values in order. Don't ask God to fix a man-made problem. Secularism is not limited to caste, creed, or religion, but in embracing believers and non-believers alike. His Holiness says many times, actually, non-believers show more compassion and are more tolerant than believers. Replace compulsiveness with consciousness and awareness. Be calm. Study Indian values. We come from a country which is rich in ancient Indian wisdom and must tap that knowledge base. Faith and religion are not enough. For inner peace, we need knowledge, investigation, reasoning, and to acquire wisdom. The ocean of love that is our holiness is not like any master. As a reincarnation of the Lord of infinite compassion, he is deemed to have kept returning among humankind in order to act as a beacon. And by providence, geographically situated as India is, the gift of providence of Tibet is the gift of the universe to us. All through his younger life, may I say this simple Buddhist monk, as His Holiness likes to call himself, has only spoken of supreme compassion, altruism, love for others, and universal brotherhood, and has always promoted the name of India, more so abroad than in India.
Sharadama, 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 Sharadama. Sharadama, Sharadama, Saraswati Ma, Saraswati Ma, Shubhravastra Sharadama, Sharadama, Saraswati. शारदा मा शारदा मा
शारदा माता शारदा मा शारदा मा शारदा मा
शारदा मा सरस्वती मा सरस्वती मा शुभ्रवस्त्रधारिणी मा शुभ्रवस्त्रधारिणी मा हंसवाहिनी माता शारदा मा शारदा मा शारदा
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Namaste. Respected, revered, and most loved, Your Holiness, elders and friends, welcome to Vidyaloke's inaugural public talk on reviving Indian wisdom in contemporary India by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet and India. It would not be unfair to say that the era we find ourselves in is unique in so many ways. The opportunities we have to communicate, share, consume, and create are unprecedented. Most of nature's intelligent barriers have been overcome. Yet we fundamentally remain unchanged, and our mind faces the same challenges as always. In fact, we are perhaps mentally and emotionally, for some physically, more vulnerable than ever before. Mostly, we don't even know it. The only sensible reaction or approach, therefore, to the state of existence we find ourselves in is to aspire to greater wisdom, not as a hobby or when it is convenient, but always, in every action, thought, and word. Here, we can consider ourselves fortunate, as there is no land or country that has a greater wealth of wisdom than ours. It is this wisdom that defines the motivation of Vidyaloke. It is this wisdom that even His Holiness the Dalai Lama considers with the utmost conviction to be India's greatest legacy. His Holiness often refers to himself as a son of India, a shishya of its wisdom, and of the great masters of this land. How many of us can truly say the same? Vidyaloke means wisdom and light. It is an Indian wisdom initiative that hopes to rekindle our legacy of wisdom and its study. Vidyaloke aims to be a facilitator, not an organization, nor a movement, nor a philosophical practice. With the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as Vidyaloke's first torchbearer, and the support of great masters and scholars that reside in this land, we hope to be successful in our efforts. I fold my hands with gratitude to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his conviction, encouragement, and precious time. I thank my parents, Aniljeet and Neelu Singh, for their abundant patience, generosity, and support for Vidyaloke. I would now like to invite Manisha, Siddhi, and Chaitra, who will offer a short salutation to Saraswati and the Hridaya Sutra in the traditional dance form of Kathak. This will be followed by a few short words by my father, Sri Aniljeet Singh, who will beseech His Holiness to bless us with his talk on reviving Indian wisdom in contemporary India. Namaste.
Okay, thank you.
तुषार हारधवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रामृता या वीणावर दण्डमण्डित श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवै सदा वन्दिता सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जाड्यापहा
आर्यावलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्वो गम्भीरायां प्रज्ञापारमितायां चरमाणो व्यवलोकयति स्म पञ्चस्कन्धाः तांश्च स्वभावशून्यान् पश्यति स्म इह शारिपुत्ररूपं शून्यतैव रूपम् रूपां न पृथक् शून्यताया न पृथक् रूपम् यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एकमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कार विज्ञानादि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्मः शून्यता लक्षणा संपन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनोना न परिपूर्णाः तस्माच्छारिपुत्र शून्यताया न रूपं न वेदना न संज्ञा न संस्कारः न विज्ञानानि न चक्षुः श्रोत्रघ्राणजिह्वा कायमनांसि न रूपशब्द गन्धरस स्पष्टव्यधर्माः न चक्षुर्धातुर्यावन्न मनोधातुः न विद्या नाविद्या न विद्याक्षयो नाविद्याक्षयो यावन्न जरामरणं न जरामरणक्षयो न दुःखसमुद्यनिरोधमार्गा न ज्ञानं न प्राप्ति न अप्राप्तिः तस्मात् शारिपुत्र अत्रातित्वात् बोधिसत्त्वस्य प्रज्ञापारमितामाश्रित्य विहरति चित्तावरणः चित्तावरणनास्तित्वादत्रस्तो विपर्यासातिक्रान्तो निष्ठनिर्वाणः प्राप्तः
And as a matter of fact, His Holiness is truly recognized all over the world as a messenger of ancient Indian wisdom. Finally, His Holiness says, I'm one of 7 billion people on this planet, and therefore says He does not feel alone. And you will see He is as happy as being with us as we are with Him. Cherish this teaching and blessing, and enjoy His Holiness's humor and His beautiful and infectious laugh and good cheer. Your Holiness, kindly bless us with your thoughts on reviving Indian wisdom in contemporary India. Thank you.
Thank you. Usually I prefer to say a few words express stand. Brothers and sisters, indeed, I'm very happy to spend a few moments with you. Some people, or some faces, very familiar to me, so you already know what I'm going to say. So you may feel boring. Some of them, I think, new. So in any way, basically we are same human being. As my friend usually mentioned, I always stress oneness of 7 billion human beings. Spiritually speaking, that's the proper way to think. Even entire sentient being, same desire, same wish, same right. Then particularly human being, from birth to death, we are same, mentally, emotionally, physically also. Basically we are same. Then most important, from birth, we always want happy life. Sometimes I feel that is the purpose of our life. The reason, quite simple. Future, always no guarantee. But we live with hope. Future, something good, something positive. So once that hope disappears, or hope lost, then I think that very mental attitude shorten our life. Then the worst case is suicide. So therefore we can say our survival depends on hope. Hope means something good. Therefore, I think the very purpose of our life is for happiness. So I always stress on that. And then I want to say something. It's at the beginning, the prayer to Saraswati, wonderful Saraswati, the goddess of, wisdom. Then, those ladies, you dance, I think Indian style, ancient Indian style, beautifully, with singing, Panchaparamita Sutra. Heart Sutra. I just felt, yes, Saraswati, goddess of wisdom, is some, prayer or recitation of Saraswati's mantra or visualization. If you have other sort of conditions, the main condition is understanding of shunyata. So, the dance, the Heart Sutra, is the essential sort of,
subject matter.
Content.
Content